Hey guys, we're here with another installment of the Scranton MMA Show. It's Frank.
I'm Jess,
This is Tom.
and we are going to start with shoes again, okay? Because I don't know, got some good feedback from it. So I'm going to start with myself today. Classic Jordan 1s. Can you see them? Sorry, Frank. So I really enjoy Jordan 1. I'm going to put my foot up on the table because they're just super comfortable, and I think they have like a classic look. And I really like the black and gray, like simpleness, but with that little extra metallic bronze on the side. So it just adds like a little bit of flair to a classic shoe. What about Frank?
I also have a pair of Jordan 1s. They're navy, little suede and little leather. I really like them. Very comfortable shoe.
Yeah, so I've been accused of wearing dad shoes. Is that the term you use? So these are, they're Columbia.
Yeah.
I like them because I could just slip them on.
Yeah.
I just slip them on. They have been tied like that for the last however. They are good in the snow. They're comfortable for me.
Yeah.
And they'll probably last like 7 to 10 years before I get motivated to buy another pair of boots that are give or take that size. No, not really.
Yeah, hiking boots.
I kind of want to hike, but I need like a good pair of shoes.
I
want to go kayaking.
I love anything Vibram-y or minimalist for any of that. Like the one thing I'm into with shoes is like that flat zero drop or whatever you want to call it. I think it's very weird to have your heel up like that. So I like anything barefoot style, and like I have those like Vibram-y whatever, and they were great for like long hikes and stuff like that. They just work real good for me.
Okay.
So
I don't want to mess up the Jordans.
yeah, you wouldn't want to take those things on a hike.
They're special.
Bear might try to jack you for your Jordans.
Right?
Be one cool bear. Sport. You'd have 2 pair of Jordans on.
Okay, so let's get into some stuff.
Cool.
So we have our Judo promotional coming up this weekend, March 10th.
Yes.
So we're going to talk to him about some last minute tips for getting ready for that.
Yeah, so it's always funny, like in Judo, you have to study. It's like karate 1985 all over again. You know, you have to know names, what things mean. And, you know, we're a very competitive sport-based club, but you still have to know this. The idea behind that is so you can like pass it on and teach it. And sometimes, you know, like it's just in life, you have to do hard or maybe unnecessary stuff just because. Like that's just the way it is. We're not all, you know, Elio Gracie just making stuff up and then catching on worldwide. So, you know, you got to know this stuff. My tips would be just study the terminology. It's really not that hard if you commit a little bit to it. So just study, know the names, know what the words mean. That's going to help a ton. And then, you know, it's like just the most common thing. But you can cram. So this week, give or take, every day there'll be time before class, after class, to get in just a little bit extra stuff to prep yourself. So everyone's doing really good. Shouldn't be freaking out. Also, we're doing promotionals now every 3 months. This way it doesn't have to be some like ridiculous thing. And also like sometimes people can't make it, you know, on a day, or if you're just a couple points shy. So now it's every 3 months. So I think that'll also help take some stress off. So
That's
study
this Saturday?
This Saturday, study up, hydrate, 11.
11? Okay.
Get ready.
Are there any like schedule changes to the classes?
No, that just gives us a little extra time. And then we're going to do a little filming afterwards. So, like,
Oh, nice.
Get your hair did, wear a nice pretty gi.
I'm getting my hair did today.
Yeah, mine was did yesterday.
Yeah.
No.
You're supposed to.
Yeah.
No, that's not happening.
How long is it usually?
So the promotional, we go like old school format where we do your formal testing, which is what I was talking about, like know this, know that, know your throws, demonstrate them, know your groundwork, chokes, arm bars, pins, demonstrate them. But we also do kohaku, and that's like a winner stays on tournament. I think it's the best. Yeah, it's awesome. You line up the smallest white belt to the heaviest white belt, then the smallest yellow belt, heaviest yellow belt, and it's winner stays on. And it's cool because no matter what, you get smoked, you get tired. And so you watch them and they might be like hot and then they're not. Like you get real tired, it's real tough. So it's like just a cool thing to go through. And it makes it very, very legitimate. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's definitely cool. Yeah.
Okay. Are you good on that?
I'm good.
Okay. So we're going to talk about how to maximize your training. So I think this is a good topic for Frank because out of all of us, he trains the most, and he has trained with so many black belts and good people and good coaches, and I think he's like come up with a lot of ways of really maximizing your time on the mats. So we're going to talk to him about that.
So I want to look at it from two different perspectives. Somebody that's been training for a while and somebody that's brand new. So somebody that's been training for a while, I like to always tell people to work your negatives constantly. All right. So something that you're not good at, work at it. All right. And we talked about that a little bit last week during the plateaus. So we don't have to go too much in depth on that. Another one is pick up 2 sets of moves or 2 sets of things, one for top and one for bottom. Because sometimes you're like, I really want to work on this guard, but somebody keeps it in guard or you're forced to be on top. So then you just go through the motions, okay? Yeah, so that's a big thing in my opinion, is always pick something for top and bottom. Another thing for me is I always like when I roll to focus on the round itself and not just go through the motions, okay? And a big part of that is replaying the rounds after you're done with it in your mind. Yeah. So if you go through a round and you don't remember all the round, then you're going too fast and you can't learn from the mistakes in the round. So you should be able to go at a pace where you could recall your matches.
Yeah, I got that tip from you a while ago, and it really changes things, especially for jiu-jitsu. I think the ability to put every little piece together, because normally, like if you get armbarred, say 3 minutes into the match, it started maybe 10 seconds ago, but maybe 2 minutes ago when like they opened your guard.
Yeah.
And as they opened the guard, they controlled your leg. You didn't think anything of it, and you're fighting up here, and you're like, well, if you got your leg free, then you could have hit. Like, so if you don't put it all together, and instead you're like, I don't know, Frank just armbarred me. He like did this. You're like, no. You got to be able to put it all together. So playing the round is huge.
Very rarely in jiu-jitsu you just get caught with no grips, with no setup, with anything. So you usually made a mistake at least 5 steps in advance. You know, whether it's you didn't control their collar and you let them get in a position, or it could be something like they've been setting up something very, very slow from the whole time.
Yeah. And that also led me to start doing that. Like I used to think, just get to the spot where I could do the arm bar, and you got me thinking like set your arm bar up as you start to like say pass the guard. You know, so like instead of just trying to blaze through the guard and get some type of top position, like that's not the goal. The point of passing the guard is to get the submission. So now, it's only taken me like, 15 years or whatever, but like now I'm like passing the guard with the idea of like, all right, what can I get? Can I trap? Can I get an underhook? Can I shut this arm down? Like, what can I do early to like, I like to think of like eliminating body parts. So if I can get to a position like tie up an arm, or can I, get a better angle or something, not just like flopping a guard, get past their guard, flopping a side body, but like the guy's just totally beat up. It's like great, like that doesn't get you as much as if you pass the guard and start to secure something as you go. So that's a huge like way to put those two things together.
Yeah. See, I can't remember my rounds, and I don't know if I just have like a bad memory in general, but I was thinking about maybe like recording my matches and not really, just to like show off to people, just for me personally.
Yeah,
Just show off
absolutely.
like a little bit.
Maybe if I hit something cool, yeah, I might.
Sometimes it's like, check that out.
But like, I don't know. I was rolling the other day with I think Tyler, and I hit this cool like sweep from turtle, like this roll out of turtle, and I was like, man, that was really cool, but I can't remember how I did that, and I wish I had it on camera so I could see the details and try to recreate it.
I think two things that can help you with the ability to recall. Again, I think sometimes some people just have the natural ability to do that.
Yeah.
What helped me was definitely recording matches. Another thing is really watching a match. So, like, say it's me and Franco, and you're gonna be like, all right, Frank's gonna triangle Tom, but let me see when it starts. So like maybe I'm postured up in guard and something happens. You're like, oh, like there's the wise Tom's elbow just out there hanging around, or why is he sticking his head forward? And then you'll see like, oh, and then he broke him down. Okay, then he, whatever. But like being able to watch matches and then record matches, I think starts putting your brain in that, process of just like, all right, I want to know and remember like start to finish what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's so beneficial to record matches. It's something, like all the great things we're doing, one of the things I think we could definitely do more of is like record matches and watch them, whether it's as like instructors for our students, but also for us to get better for us. Like, because I'm like the same way, like, I'm like, wait a minute, how the heck did I end up like this?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, he was mounted and got it, but like, what happened before? What did I do wrong? And like, if you watch it like 5-10 times, you're like, oh, just don't do that. Like, just don't do that. So yeah, maybe we should break out some more cameras and record a little bit more stuff.
I actually ordered this cool new tripod thing called a tentacle or something like that. It's cool. It's like a Y shape and it has suction cups and you can bend it.
Can you put it on like the boards?
Oh yeah, probably. If you like suction it to the wall of the boards are like the walls around the mats. It's like a hockey term. But yeah, suction it on there and then you like suction cup it to the phone and I'm sure you could.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know when it's coming in the mail. It's kind of like a sketchy order, but still.
Cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Like $20.
And now for more of a beginner training tools, my opinion is like they should always work on the crappy positions, like bottom side control, bottom mount, back escapes, because then once you start being able to work your offense more and more, you're not afraid to work it. So if you could always regain your guard, then you could always, if you get passed while working something new, you could always regain your guard. And the biggest thing for me with beginners is don't count how many times you get tapped or tap the other person out as wins and losses. Okay. Yeah. Just because maybe you went nuts and you were able to get a tap, that doesn't necessarily help you in the long term compared to going slow, thinking move by move, working your defense, right? If you get put in bottom side control and bottom mount, it's going to stink, but it's going to get you better. And you're going to get tapped out, that it's an inferior position for a reason because it's hard to get out. They have more options and you should get tapped out from those positions. So it's not until you start getting good at those is when you could really exploit your offense.
Yeah. I think getting stuck on the bottom as a white belt has really helped my defense, just keeping everything so tight and trying to wiggle out of things. So you have to be on the bottom. You have to be stuck there.
I wish someone told me this 20 years ago, and I came up in a very different atmosphere than what Scranton MMA has now. So this might not help the same, but I think some of our hardcore beginners that are super motivated and get hooked on this so quick, but you're still a beginner. Have fun and enjoy it. You're a white belt, for such a short amount of time. It's the time when you could say, I'm gonna go for it and just look, you're gonna mess it up. Like you're gonna try to pass someone's guard, you're gonna get armbar. You're gonna try to pass the next person's guard, you're gonna get triangle. But like it's okay. You know, when you get better, you're like, ooh, if I mess up this pass, I don't want like, you know. So I think like purple belt's a unique rank where it's like everybody's allowed to try to kill you. It's cool, I like it. But like, so if I feel like any little mistake I make, someone's gonna get me. Like, you know, if I make a mistake against a blue belt, either they're gonna get me or like I have to bust my butt to not get tapped. But like when you're a white belt, like it's like freedom. You're like just a little kid. You run around, do whatever you want, and like no matter what, it's gonna make you better. You know, like you can do more efficient things, but like really enjoy it because most of your life is going to be spent at like these higher ranks, purple belt, brown belt, black belt. So like enjoy, you know, how much there is to learn. You know, like there's so much to learn as a white belt. Enjoy it. There's so many mistakes you can make. Enjoy it. Like realize that's when you're really making the most progress. You're putting everything together. Like you're doing the right thing. Like so, definitely enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Don't beat yourself up.
I like your quote that you always say. It's not a destination. It's a journey.
Yeah.
And I think people should have that mindset a little bit more.
Yeah. We like short term.
Yeah.
Like you step back. If you were to like look at your jiu-jitsu journey, your judo journey, like the white belt early rank part, it's
So
like that. But that's what like lays the foundation. Like if you're never a white belt, you're never a black belt. So like get into it and just enjoy it. It's like when you're on like a road trip, like those first few minutes, you're like, let's go. We're going to Disney World or wherever. And you know, then like 7 hours in the car, you're like, you know, so like enjoy it, enjoy the beginning. It's so awesome. There's so much stuff to learn. I just wish I had that the first like 2-3 years of when I started grappling, more than like worried about being like the white belt champion.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
like wow, great. Like I was the best white belt. That's awesome. You know, so I definitely hope all our white belts and lower ranks and beginners are like enjoying it, realizing what's gonna come like 2, 5, 10 years down the road.
Yeah. And 2 more things to add as well for white belt training. Always ask questions, all right? So at the end of all of our jiu-jitsu classes, our judo classes, we always ask you guys for questions. So especially with jiu-jitsu, because I can speak on that more, if you got submitted, if you got swept, if somebody got anything on you, you should ask a question. Even if you think you know the answer, maybe there's a little bit of the technique that you didn't do, and that's why it didn't work, right? There's a reason why it didn't work, all right? For judo, I'm assuming if you get thrown,
Yeah, it's
you
all
should
relative.
ask
The
a
same
question.
thing. Yeah, if you're put in a bad spot, like hey, it's either I was like, what do I do when I'm in this bad spot, or hey, how do I not get in this bad spot? And it doesn't matter. Anything is relevant to that. Like when you're in a bad position, what do you do? But then like, hey, how do I prevent?
Yeah.
You know, everyone's guillotining me.
Yeah.
That was such a big thing for me a while ago. It was like everyone's guillotine. Everyone's guillotine. And at first it was like, how do I stop the guillotine? How do I stop the guillotine? Then once I was like, wait a minute, how do I not have
denominator?
Yeah, like how do I not? And it was like, hey, stop sticking your neck out, dummy, when you're passing all the time. And I'm like, oh, all right. And then I just like, oh, keep my posture. Same thing you say 100 times in class, I'm doing that. And like it changed like dramatically. Like so definitely Q&A, it can speed up the process so much if you're able to say like, you know, this is what's happening, what do I do? Or this is what's happening, how do I not get in there? You know, it all ties together. I like it.
And another thing is, especially at a lower rank, if you're going against somebody that has more training, don't be afraid to engage with them. Okay, so there's a lot of times where a lower rank will roll with a higher rank and they kind of just like try to run past their guard or do something like that, right? You're not going to run past somebody's guard. And if you do, they're going to let you and they're going to regain their guard. So don't go nuts, but don't be afraid to engage. Don't be afraid to try something Again, with appropriate, like, I guess, intensity. Like, you're not trying to, like, go, yeah, spaz out, but try stuff. And whatever they do to stop that, let's say, my favorite things is, like, especially when I was coming up, is if I was getting caught in something, I would do it to somebody and see how they got out, okay? And then I would try to work it like that, okay? So that's a really, really good tool, in my opinion, for newer students and more advanced students, too.
I like that. Yeah. So what do we think about time? I think Sensei Frank might have to go.
Yeah.
He's got to teach class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Okay. So yeah, thanks for watching. Remember, just ask us questions that we can address during our show. We like questions. Helps us learn. Like, I learned stuff just sitting here talking to these guys.
Good focus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
And if you guys want to see us do anything, like a little bit more on training or a little bit more on competition or outside of the gym, like what's your whatever, you know?
More shoes.
Yeah, more
More
shoes.
Maybe we could wear like different shoes on each feet next time.
There you go.
Double the amount of shoe.
And then eventually, when we run out of shoes, we could do socks, and then I don't.
Something like that.
Great stuff.
Okay.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks. Bye.